We gather here today to celebrate a high ritual, to celebrate Lughnasadh, so that I may ground myself in the presence of the kindred, for what our deities, our mysticals, and our ancestors, the sign of the most holy ancient cross, from the north to the south, and from the east to the west, a perfect offering will be made. May we have the honor to be wisdom to divine, from divining to knowing, and from knowing to studying, from studying to understanding, from understanding to applying, from applying to creating, from creating to gauging, from gauging to teaching, and from teaching to healing, from teaching to heal to allowing, and from allowing to freeing. Grant, O kindred, ye protection, and in ye protection ye strength, and in ye strength ye understanding, and ye understanding ye knowledge, and in ye knowledge of justice. Justice frees Druidic balance from the physical law of the heart, from the cosmic law of the soul, from the Rayan law of the mind, from the universal law of the spirit. There creates my Druidic tetrachonomy. Within the limits of the Druidic tetrachonomy liveth my great law of four. Within the limits of the great law of four liveth my excellence. Within the limits of excellence liveth my perseverance. And in the peace of perseverance, the love of it, and in the love of it, the love of ourselves. And the love of ourselves, the love of all existences, and in the love of all existences, the love ye give us mortals. Ye whom are from source, Hail Luther. Ye whom are with force, Hail Luther. Ye whom are of course, Hail Connor. Ye who are endorse, Hail Ragnar. Without absence, and so, within and all goodness, within all fullness, within all creation, within all realms, within all Gwynfyd, and so without nothing, I'm on my path. Girawen. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and open up the Druid Circle. I call upon the lords and ladies of the South. I call upon the lords and ladies of the Southeast. I call upon the lords and ladies...
I'm afraid I need you to sign it again so I can help.
That's okay. I call upon the lords and ladies of the East. I call upon the lords and ladies of the Northeast. I call upon the lords and ladies of the North. I call upon the lords and ladies of the Northwest. I call upon the lords and ladies of the West. And I invite the lords and ladies of the Southeast to celebrate with us today.
We raise the fire as the Druids would. The encirclement of our purification shall not wither. Of the fire from the wicker and inspiring is our spirit, purifying with all its within it all genuine hither. Pour. We poured the water as the Druids would. The encirclement of our reflection shall not wither. Of the water from the crucible and uprising is our soul, reflecting within it all genuine hither. We sprinkle the stone as the Druids would, the encirclement of our sanctification shall not wither. Of the salt from the stone and uprising is our heart, sanctifying within it all genuine hither. We smudge the punk. As the Druids would, the encirclement of our protection shall not wither. Of the smoke from the wood and uprising is our mind, protecting with it all genuine hither.
We proclaim the porters to be any and all benevolent, holy, mystical frogs, and call upon them to open the portal of all realms. Power within us freely flows as our drought beyond us easily grows. Oscilitar, Nagote.
The portal be open.
This next section is called Lughnasadh or Lamp, which just simply means reading. And we're going to do two readings. And Jeremiah, if you want, you can have a seat. And this one first, okay? This one later. Okay.
The Little Waves of Breffny by Eva Gorbooth. The grand road from the mountain goes shining to the sea, and there is traffic in it as many a horse and cart. But the little road of Lugh are dear far to me, and the little road of Lugh go rambling through my heart. A great storm from the ocean goes shouting o'er the hill, and there is glory in it and terror on the wind. But the haunted air of twilight is very strange and still, and the little winds of twilight are drear to my mind. The great waves of the Atlantic sweep storming on their way, shining green and silver with the hidden herring shell. But the waves of Breffny have drenched my heart in spray, and the little waves of Breffny go stumbling through my soul.
The second reading is called The Coming of Lugh, or as some people would say, Lugh. By itself it's Lugh, but when conjoined when by itself it's Lugh, and conjoined it's Lugh, as in Lughnasadh. Mananagmak Lir, who rules the ocean, took the little sun god Lugh in his arms and held him up so that he could see the whole of Ireland with the waves, whispering about it everywhere. Say farewell to the mountains and rivers, the big trees and flowers in the grass, O Lugh, for you are coming away with me." The child stretched out his hands and cried, "Goodbye, mountains and flowers and rivers. Someday I will come back for you." Then Manannán wrapped Lugh in his cloak and stepped into his boat, the ocean sweeper. And without oar or sail, they journeyed over the sea till they crossed the waters at the edge of the world and came to the country of Manannán, a beautiful country shining with the colors of the dawn. Lugh stayed in that country with Manannán. He raced the waves along the strand. He gathered apples sweeter than honey from trees with crimson blossoms. The wonderful birds came to play with him. Now Manannán's daughter, Niamh, took him through the woods where there were milk-white deer and horns of gold, and black-maned lions, spotted panthers, and unicorns that shone like silver, and strange beasts that no one ever heard of. And all the animals were glad to see him, and he played with them and called them by their names. Every day, Lugh grew taller and stronger and more beautiful, but he did not any day ask Manannán to take him back to Ireland. Every night, when the darkness had come into the sky, Manannán wrapped himself in his mantle of power and crossed the sea and walked all around Ireland, stepping from rock to rock. No one saw him because his mantle made him invisible. But he saw everything and knew that trouble had found the Dananns, the ugly, misshapen folk of the former that had come into Ireland and spread themselves all over the country like a pestilence. They had stolen the cauldron of plenty and carried it away to their own land, where Balor of the evil eye reigned. They had taken the spear of victory also, and the only one of the four great jewels of sovereignty remained to the Dananns was the Stone of Destiny. It was hidden deep in the earth of Ireland, and because of it, the Fomorians could not altogether conquer the country, nor could they destroy the Dananns, though they drove them far their pleasant palaces and hunted them through the glens and valleys like outlaws. Manannán himself had the fourth jewel, the Sword of Light. He kept it and weighed it. When Lugh was full grown, Manannán said to him, "It is 3 times 7 years, as mortals could count time, since I brought to you Tirnanog, and in all that time I have never given you a gift. Today I will give you a gift." He brought out the Sword of Light and gave it to Lugh, and when Lugh took it in his hand, he remembered how he had cried to the hills and rivers of Ireland, "Someday I will come back to you." And he said to Manannán, "I want to go back to Ireland. You will not find joyness there, O Lugh, or the music of harp strings, or feasting. The Dananns are shorn of their strength. Olma, their champion, carries logs to warm Fomorian hearths. Angus wanders like an outcast. and Nora, the king, has but one done, where those who had once the lordship of the Lord of the world meet in secret like hunted folk. I have a good sword, said Lugh. I will go to my kinsfolk. Oh, Lugh, said Manannán, they have never known you. Will you leave me? And this land where sorrow has never touched you, for the sake of the stranger kinsfolk? This is the Isle of Man. Lugh answered, I remember the hills and the woods and rivers of Ireland, and though all my kinsfolk were gone from it, and the sea covered everything but the tops of the mountains, I would go back. You have the hardiness that wins victory, said Manannán. I will set you on my own white horse, and give you companions, and as high-hearted as yourself. I will put my helmet on your head, and my breastplate over your heart. You shall drive the Fomorians out of Ireland, as chaff is driven by the wind. When Lugh put the helmet on the helmet of Manannán, brightness shot into the sky as if a new sun had risen. When he put on the breastplate, a great wave of music swelled and sounded through Tirnanog. When he mounted the white horse, a mighty wind swept past him, and lo, the companions of Manannán had promised rode beside him. Their horses were white like his, and gladness that age cannot wither shone there in their faces. When they came to the sea that is about Tirnanog, the little crystal waves lifted themselves up to look at Lugh, and when he and his friends sped over the sea as lightly as blown foam, the little waves followed them till they came to Ireland. And the three great waves of Ireland thundered a welcome, the wave of Thoth, the wave of Rui, and the long, slow, white, foaming wave of Clena. No one saw the fairy host coming to Ireland. At the place where their horses leaped from the sea to land, there was a great wood of pine trees. Let this go into the woods, said Lugh, and they rode between the tall, straight tree trunks into the silent heart of the wood. Rest here, said Lugh, till morning. I will go to the dun of Nora and get news of my kinsfolk. He put his shining armor from him and wrapped himself in a dark cloak and went on foot to the dun of Nora. He struck the brazen door, and the guardian of the door spoke to him from within. What do you seek? Lugh responded, my way into the dun. No one enters here who has not his craft. What can you do? Lugh said, I have the craft of a carpenter. We have a carpenter within. I have the craft of a smith. We have a smith within. I have the craft of a champion. We have a champion within. I have the craft of a harper. We have a harper within. I have the craft of a poet. We have a poet within. I have the craft of an historian. We have an historian within. I have the craft of a wizard. We have many wizards and magicians within. I have the craft of a physician. We have a physician within. I have the craft of a coverer. We have coverers within. I have the craft of a brazier. We have a brazier within. Go hence and ask your king if he has within any one man who can do all of these things. If he has, I will not see. If he has, I will not seek to enter. The guardian of the door hurried. O king, he said, the most wonderful youth in the world is waiting outside your door tonight. He seeks admittance as the Lughnasadh, the master of every craft. Let him come in, said the king. Lugh came into the dun. Alma, the champion, took a good look at him. He thought him young and slender, and his mind was test him. He stooped and lifted the great stone that was before the seat of the king. It was flat and round, and 80 yoke of oxen could not move it. Alma cast it through the open door so that it crossed the fosse of which was round the dun. That was his challenge. It is a good champion cast, said Lugh. I will better it. He went outside. He lifted the stone and cast it back, not through the door, but through the strong wall of the dun, so that it fell in the place where it had lain before Alma lifted it. Your cast is better than mine, said Alma. Sit in the seat of the champion with your face to the king. Lugh then drew his hand over the wall. It became whole as before. He sat in the champion's seat. Let the chest be brought, said the king. Then they played, and Lugh won all the games, so that thereafter it passed into a proverb to make the crow of Lugh. Truly, you are the Eldona, said Nuala. I would fain hear music of your making, but I have no harp to offer you. I see a kingly harp within reach of your hand, said Lugh. That is the harp of the Dagda. No one can bring music from the harp but he himself. When he plays on it, the 4 seasons, spring, summer, autumn, and winter, pass over the earth. I will play on it, said Lugh. The harp was given to him, and Lugh played the music of joy, and outside the dawn the birds began to sing as though it were morning, and wonderful crimson flowers sprang through the grass flowers, and trembled with delight, and swayed, and touched each other with a delicate fairy ringing as the silver bells. Inside the dawn, a subtle sweetness of laughter filled the hearts of everyone. It seemed to them that they had never known the gladness till that night. He played the music of sorrow. The wind moaned outside, and where the glass and flowers had been, there was a dark sea of moving waters. The Dedonans within the dun bowed their heads on their hands and wept, and they had never wept for any grief. Lugh played the music of peace, and outside there fell silently a strange snow. Flake by flake it settled on the earth and changed to starry dew. Flake by flake, the quiet of the land of the silver fleece settled in the hearts and minds of Nuala and his people. They closed their eyes and slept, each in his seat. Lugh pulled the heart from him and stole out of the dun. The snow was still falling outside. It settled on his dark cloak and shone like silver scales. It settled on the thick curls of his hair and shone like jeweled fire. It filled the night about him with white radiance. He went back to his companions. The sun had risen in the sky when the Dedanans awoke and Nuala's done. They were light-hearted and joyous, and it seemed to them that they had dreamed overnight a strange, beautiful dream. The Fomorians have not taken the sun out of the sky, said Nuala. Let's go to the hill of Usna and send our scattered comrades that we may make and stand against our enemies. They took their weapons and went to the hill of Usna, and they were not long on it when a band of Fomorian devastators came upon them. The Fomorians scoffed among themselves when they saw how few the Dedanans were, and how ill prepared for fighting they were. Behold, they cried, what mighty kings are today upon Usna, the hill of sovereignty. Come down, O kings, and bow yourselves before your masters. We will not bow ourselves before you, said Nuala, for you are ugly and vile, and lords neither of us nor of Ireland. With hoarse cries from the Fomorians fell on the Dedanans, but Nuala and his folk held together and withstood them as well as they were able. Scarcely had the weapons clashed when a light appeared in the horizon, and a sound of the mighty battle trumpets shook the air. The light was so white that no one could look at it, and great rose-red streamers shot from it into the sky. It is a second sunrise, said the Fomorians. It is the deliverer, said the Dedanans. Out of the light came the glorious company of warriors from Tirnanop. Lugh was leading them. He had the helmet of Manannán on his head, the breastplate of Manannán over his heart, and the great white horse of Manannán beneath him. The sword of light was bare in his hand. He fell on the Fomorians as sea eagle falls on her prey, as lightning flashes out of a clear sky. Before him and his companions, they were destroyed as stubble is destroyed by fire. He held his hand when only 9 of them remained alive. Bow yourselves, he said, before King Nuala and before the Dedanans, for they are your lords and the lords of Ireland, and go hence to Balor of the evil eye, and tell him and his misshapen brood that the Dedanans have taken their own again, and they will wage war against the Fomorians till there is not one left to darken the earth with his shadow. In the end, the 9 Fomorians bowed themselves before King Nuala and before the Dedanans and before Lugh the Eldana, and they arose and carried his message to Balor of the evil eye king of the Fomorians. When I think about this story, I think about this idea of Lugh coming to this gated fortress and asking for entry. And what ends up happening is he then says things like, do you need and then whatever the talent was. And they say, nope, we have one of them. And he asks again, hey, do you need whatever. And then they're like, well, no, we got one of them. And he continues this process until he gets to the end of all of his individual skills. And then he says, but do you have one that possesses all of this? And so that's when it begins. I think in summary, Lughnasadh is truly about the idea of bringing it all together. You see, each and every one of us can have an identity. Some of us may consider ourselves gay. Some of us may consider ourselves black. Some of us may consider ourselves Spanish speakers. Some may consider ourselves women. But with all of those individual identities, we are only focusing on a microcosm. I think it might be good that we come together as ourselves. I think that if we only say that we are this or we are that, we are not encompassing our macrocosm. And because of that, we do ourselves a disservice to our Druidic tetrachonomy, our heart, soul, mind, and spirit. It might behoove us to think about moving away from the identity, moving away to the single thing that we identify with, and bring it all together in a synergism, so that we aren't necessarily erasing, but we are adding to our own individual fullness of self. This is the season of Lughnasadh. It is the holy season of Lugh. The season of the son of Cian, Donna, Dian, and Ellen. The season of the Fomorian champion. The season of the sun's rest. The season of the Son of Man. The season of the Son of Light. The season of an eagle on top of an oak tree. The season of the beginning of fall. The season of Mercury. The season of those skilled in all arts. the season of the ancient tribes of northern Italy, the season of the Isle of Man, the season of the bread of life, the season of the most holy ancient Druidesses, with day. Drot. Clon. Glud. Gless. Tall. Talon. Truck. We honor ye holy deities of the Southwest. And now we're going to have a meditation. And this is from Gems of Mysticism.
Gems of Mysticism. The object of evolution is for mankind to gain wisdom out of every condition. From Isis, line 34 to 36.
Now we pray the Druid's Creed. I promise to be so strong that nothing can disturb my peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person I meet, to make all my friends feel that there is something worthwhile in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make my optimism come true, to ponder only the best, to work only for the best, and to expect nothing but the best, to stand just as enthusiastic about the success of others as I am about my own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature I meet a smile, to give so much time to the improving of myself that I have no time to criticize others, to exist too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble, to think well of myself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud word but also in great deed, to live in the faith that the whole world is on my side, so that as long as I am true to the best that is in me, to honor my procrastination not as an excuse for due time, but as waiting on the right time to execute action from virtue, to know that my heart, soul, mind, and spirit are in sync with the kindred only when I am genuine with their comprehensive truth, to abide unmovable in my ethics of worshiping God, doing all good, and remain brave against those who oppose me and steadfast with those who support me, to grasp excellence as mastering a concept, not by knowing few ideas of many subjects, but by comprehending and practicing many ideas, creating the sum of that subject. Okay, so put that page down just for a second. So once, twice, thrice. So I let that up once, then twice, then thrice, then chorus. Okay. Right? Okay. All right. By this flame we edify our worth as the Druids would shape it. We rise and are sanctified by this encompassment. Guarding the earth, guarding our earth, guarding the Druid's circle and the truth within it. By this water we edify our birth as the Druids would shape it. We rise and are reflected by this encompassment. Guarding the earth, guarding the hearth, and guarding all those and the truth within it. By this salt we edify our Perth as the Druids would shape it. We rise and are forecasted by this encompassment. Guarding the earth, guarding our hearth, guarding the Druid circle and the truth within it. By this smoke we edify our Kurth, as the Druids would shape it. We rise and are protected by this encompassment. Guarding the earth, guarding our hearth, guarding the Druid circle, and the truth within it. We are now in the season of Lughnasadh. Because of this, we request your presence by an invocation and communicate our purpose with a prayer. We ask you listen and respond, O lords and ladies of the Southwest, as you see appropriate to our Druidic tetrachronomy. At this point, you may mention your own intentions. Okay, at this time when you hear Hail Kindred, you may repeat Hail Kindred.
May we free the world of those promoting segregation and chaos, so that we may all live in harmony. Hail Kindred.
Hail Kindred.
May we learn the skills needed in the aftermath of the potential civil war here in this land, so that we may continue to help and protect one another. Hail Kindred.
Hail Kindred.
May we bless the leaders of these nations, including our president, so that they may be inspired to make the best decisions for the people they serve. Hail Kindred.
Hail Kindred.
May those living with disabilities have caregivers that genuinely assist them on the road for their independence. Hail Kindred.
Hail Kindred. Hail Earth Mother. Hail Time Father. May the past be gone but remembered. May the presence be alive in our souls. May the future be gone with us together, as the Norns are here. Hail Cernunnos. Hail Holy Druids. O God, come to my assistance. O Lord and ladies of the Southwest, make haste to help us. Glory to the source, force,
and
course, and doors, as it was before, is now, and will be forever, and it will be after, in the lower, mid, and upper, and all of the realms, forever and ever. Gita Win. We honor ye kindred, and with the cry of the deer, we holler. Let the fire be flame. Let the well be water. Shan't drop be dirt. Shan't smog be smoke. We now present the gifts of finest mead. We now present our 4 gifts of heart, a peach, of soul, flower, of mind, ginger, and of spirit, sesame seeds. May our offering be acceptable. Let all be in place as it was before. In the beginning shall be now and will it be forever and ever, until we ask again. May all of us true to the Druid Circle, Druid Order of Blessed Stone and Wood, and all of their partnerships bring to an end what we began. Together, as you allowed the frogs to bring all of you here today, we now release you to the realms from which you have come to visit us. With the greatest of gratitude, we thank you for your presence and communion with us. We end this liturgy with the most holy sign of the cross. From the north, the south, the east and west, a perfect offering has been made. Hona Lughnasadh. Betshegobra, Arenit, Eist, Le Mogui, Tashe, Fear, Girawin, Duntar Nagote. Let the gates be closed. Our ritual is ended. Go in peace to love and serve the God or gods of your understanding.